Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new video. Now in today's video, we will be doing a part 2 to this video from a month ago where I ranked Game of Thrones characters, but at that point I had only seen season 1. So all of my thoughts and opinions came from that season and that season alone. Now since then I have watched through season 2, I have some opinions to share. Now without further ado, let's get started. Now first up we have Robb Stark, King in the North. I think Robb had a tremendous second season, building relationships with other kingdoms and families while leading his attack on the Lannisters on the throne, keeping Jaime as a prisoner throughout the majority of the season, leading many successful attacks, all while fighting on the front lines. And despite breaking his oath to marry the Frey daughter, he even got married. For such a young commander and king, he was doing a whole lot during this season, and despite losing Jaime due to Kat's deal for Sansa on Arya, which is a major bit of leverage he lost, I can't wait to see what Robb does in season 3, because this war is far from over. S tier character. Now next up we have Arya. Now Arya wasn't one of my favorites from season 1, but she had such a good storyline this season, starting from when the party she was rolling with got killed, and she basically had to go undercover with Tywin as his cupbearer. Those were some of the best scenes of the entire season. Learning more about Tywin and how he acts towards others. He's a very hard man to get a read on, hard exterior, but he has certain cracks of humanity, but we'll talk more about him later. But the way that these scenes play out with him and Arya, especially when she had to try her best not to let Baelish see her face, it was so tense, and I couldn't wait to see more. But I can't move on without Arya without first mentioning her mysterious assassin friend who got shit done. She saved him, he got some people out of the way for her, and walked off with a whole new identity. I really do hope we see him again. He's really cool. Now Arya, you did good this season. You had one of my favorite storylines. Last time I had you at C, but you get pushed up to B for season 2. However, now we have Kat. Now I love her character, but I don't like her as much in this season as season 1. Now maybe I'm losing my mind, but I feel like her screen time was way less than half of what it was in season 1. Her scenes with Robb were great, her scenes with Jaime were chilling and disturbing, especially when he admits some of his sick habits and horrible deeds, but unfortunately Kat does drop a little bit for me from season 1. I have her in B for season 2. But now we have Bran, the little Lord of the North. Honestly, seeing how he performed as Lord of the North was impressive. He made good choices, and even in the event of a siege by Theon, he showed no fear when faced with the man. He only wielded because Theon convinced him it was for the good of the people. I was very impressed with Bran through season 2, and I think he lands himself in the high end of B tier. But now let's talk about the rat fuck Theon. I knew this little spineless bastard could not be trusted. I felt it in my bones. It wasn't incredibly subtle, but it doesn't matter. Feeling up and groveling to his old family, betraying his new family. Now I know technically he was a prisoner of war, but they treated him well enough. Theon is a disappointment all around and had to take Winterfell from the Little Lords, and yet in the end, it still wasn't a tremendously successful siege. He was Lord of Winterfell for all of 2 seconds, and for all we know as of right now, he's on his way to being decapitated by Robb. But he had a pretty interesting arc. He's a good antagonist, so even though he's a pussy, he's a B tier level pussy. Now next up we have Osha, the wildling turned member of Bran's crew of misfits, and she did what she had to do to save her best friends. I really enjoy how she's grown to care about Bran, Hodor, Rickon, and she just feels like she's really coming into her own character development wise. I really like her. I think she's a B tier character. But now we have Joffrey, the king of the 7 kingdoms, a malicious, evil, sick, spineless young man, and he revels in the pain he inflicts on others as seen in most of his scenes. Obviously mostly in that incredibly disturbing scene with the 2 women Tyrion sends him. And what he has Ros do to the other woman, it was sick and shows that not even the most base carnal instincts have an effect on his sadism. Joffrey is evil, he cares for no one and nothing, and he is one hell of a villain. There is nowhere else to put Joffrey other than S tier. He's so good at being the worst. However, I don't believe he's the best villain in the show, because following him is the best villain in the entire series, Cersei Lannister. Now she has a really good season. Her tension that built throughout the season with Tyrion, with him marrying off her daughter, her threatening to kill the woman he loves should there be one, her kind of poking and prodding at Sansa. In certain scenes it kind of feels like she's taking out all of her frustrations of the life she missed out on Sansa, since like her she married into a family she didn't care for. She's a very complex and evil and hateable and most of all just really disgusting villain, but she's such a good character that doesn't fit anywhere besides S tier. Now next up, we have Jaime Lannister. Unfortunately, he wasn't too heavily involved this season, being locked up by the Starks the whole time, so he will be dropping slightly in the rankings. For season 1, I believe I had him in the A tier. He just didn't do enough to move past a B for me in season 2, despite having some pretty solid scenes with Kat and now Brienne. Let's see what he does in season 3. Now we have Tywin Lannister. This guy is so good. He's used somewhat sparingly, but every scene he's in, there's so many layers to the performance and writing for his character that's unbelievably captivating. I spoke about it briefly in the Arya section, but seeing the different dimensions of this character and the way he treats different people, and despite his riches and power, he still warms up slightly to Arya and treats her with respect to a certain degree, drawing hard lines from whenever she speaks, from his perspective, out of line, and he ends the season in King's Landing as the full hand of the king. So honestly, while he didn't have a ton of screen time, he stole every scene he was in and lands himself in the A tier. Now Tyrion is next up, and he had a tremendous second season. His and Shay's dynamic is great, and it really feels like they love each other regardless of status or circumstance. We see various times that Tyrion really does genuinely care about what's going on or what's right, going out of his way to try and protect Sansa and the others. We also see that he's a more honorable leader than Joffrey, marching into battle himself rather than cowering away. Now at the end of the season, he's been cut open, lost his rank, and he's kind of at the lowest low that he's ever been at, but that doesn't stop him from being an S tier character on this list. Now next up, we have Sansa. Now she spent the whole season basically enduring chronic abuse from Joffrey and Cersei, and despite this, playing her role incredibly well. She's a very strong, intelligent character who knows the hand she's been dealt and knows she has to play the game to stay alive. She had some pretty meaningful moments with characters like Shay and the Hound, and overall, while she wasn't one of my favorites from the season, she's still holding strong in the B tier. Now next up, we have Lord Baelish. Fuck this guy. He's the slimiest little shit in the whole cast. Joffrey's the biggest asshole, but Littlefinger is so much more nefarious because he hides behind the helpful info broker persona and sucks up to everyone. But my reaction to his behavior proves how good of a villain he is. I have him in the A tier. Now next up, we have Bronn. He's always a good time. He's hilarious, and the scene with him and Tyrion debating the pronunciation of the author's name was really funny in a show like this. Bronn's good with a blade and a bow, and all around one of the most reliable men you'd want on your side in wars like these. B tier character, one of my favorites. Now next up, we have the Hound. Now I don't have an insane amount to say about the Hound besides the fact that I believe he's going to have an interesting arc moving forward, because he left Joffrey and the kingdom and is off doing his own thing and all of that, but he's gonna have to stick in the C tier to me. Don't get me wrong, like I said, the scene with Bronn was pretty cool. We got a lot more of what makes him tick when he got spooked by all the fire, and he even offered to rescue Sansa from King's Landing, but like I said, he has to stick in the C tier. Now next up, we have Stannis Baratheon, a badass lord who fought with his men in trying to claim the throne. Unfortunately, his crazy-ass girlfriend and her light god and Tyrion Lannister's plannings prevented him from succeeding, but he was a really cool, no-nonsense kind of guy, and while it might be difficult with his troops being brutalized, I believe he could still play a role moving forward. B-tier character. And now next up we have Melisandre, and what the fuck is this girl's deal? She's so confusing because I can't see what she's really plotting to do. She shacked up with Stannis believing in him and killed his brother by giving birth to a shadow demon assassin, which was a ridiculous scene by the way, and she's absolutely my rookie of the year for this season. I highly doubt this is the last we see of her. She's too cool and mysterious to be pushed to the side. She's gonna have to go in the B tier. Now next up we have Renly. Now while he wasn't incredibly successful in his war efforts or his marriage for that matter, or even in his affair, he was important to get certain storylines moving, because without him we wouldn't see the birth of Shadow Demon, we wouldn't get Brienne leaving his Kingsguard, and without him dying we wouldn't get his former people linking up with the Lannisters. Now maybe I'm just stupid, but I don't remember the scene where they said they would join forces with Tywin. I don't remember that happening, but it makes sense for his wife and lover to attack Stannis, and this would have to be the way to do it. And now we have his wife moving onwards with Joffrey, so while his importance to the plot might be an A, him as a character has to go in the D tier. Now next we have Brienne, the former personal knight of Renly. Now Brienne is pretty cool. She's had some badass kills and fight sequences. Now she hasn't done enough or had enough time to go extremely high on the list, but she's at least a B tier for me, one of the coolest additions to the cast. Now we have Jon. I've enjoyed his storyline so much more this season. Him being beyond the wall and him interacting with characters like Ygritte and half hand for some of my favorite moments of the season. He's had a lot of really interesting moral dilemmas. He tries to ignore the cries of a baby but can't stop himself. He's supposed to kill Ygritte but can't, and ends up getting captured for it. Jon's storyline is a definite upgrade from season 1, and it looks like it's going to get even better in season 3. I'm throwing Jon in A tier for this season. Now Samwell Tarly is up next. His Loverboy arc is really charming and a nice contrast to the whole kind of downer mood the Night Watch seem to share, and I hope Sam goes back and gets the girl because her situation is incredibly fucked up. I'll give Sam a B tier just for the nice wholesome vibes. And last but not least is Daenerys Stormborn of House Targaryen, my favorite character in the entire show, and that continues through season 2. Her storyline with the people of Karth and her dragons, and especially as a leader, were so great to watch. She really came far in this season, and those dragons are only going to get bigger and badder. They fried the freaky guy over there as soon as she commanded it. I love this character. S tier all the way. Now thank you everybody for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. My next video will be the season 3 ranking, so don't have to worry about waiting another 3 videos for the next one. My next video will be the season 3 ranking. Thank you for watching once again, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.